Staff entrance only. A black girl, 20s old, walked the red carpet. The metal sign said staff entrance only. It hung above a gray door near the loading dock. Trucks beeped. Fans screamed far away. Under that sign, a young black woman named Maya Brent hugged a black garment bag to her chest. She was in her early 20s. Her beat-up lanyard said catering. Her heart said filmmaker. Both pulled hard. She could smell popcorn and engine oil. She could hear the red carpet host laughing through a speaker. She could feel sweat on her neck. In her head, a small voice kept asking, "Why not you?" A louder voice said, "Do your job." She was there to carry trays. That was it. But tonight, the same indie short she had helped storyboard in a summer class had become a big deal. The director, Evan Kiras, was up for a major award. He had seen her drawings once. He had said, "You have good eyes, kid." He had moved on. She had gone back to her shifts. But the story she helped shape had kept moving without her. And now, beyond the rope, cameras flashed like lightning. Stars posed. Publicists waved clipboards like flags. Maya stood under the metal sign and felt both proud and small. The cold concrete under her shoes felt like a wall. The sparkle beyond it felt like a sky. A woman in a black suit rushed past the barricade, pale and shaking. She whispered, "Where are they? Oh God, where?" Her earpiece fell. Her badge said publicist. She looked near the crates. She looked near the trash can. She almost cried. The woman dropped a velvet box near the ramp and didn't see it slide under a cart. Maya did. She put the garment bag down, crawled fast, and reached for the box. A forklift horn blared. A crew guy shouted, "Watch it!" Maya rolled away with the box in her hand, her elbow scraped, her heart loud. She stood and ran to the gate. "Ma'am, you dropped this." The publicist stopped like she had hit a wall. She grabbed the box, opened it, and a bright blue light flashed inside, sapphire earrings glittering like tiny oceans. Her eyes filled with tears. She stared at Maya's face. She squinted as if a memory was trying to come out. "Wait," she said. "Do I know you? You're the student who storyboarded Orchard Nights last summer, right? You drew the alley scene. The hands. The orange light. Evan loved that page." Maya felt the ground tilt. Her throat went dry. She nodded, shy. "Yes, I'm Maya." The publicist gripped her shoulder. "Evan," she called toward the rope. "It's her." The director turned from the cameras. His face changed to surprise and then joy. He waved like she was family. "You saved our night," he told the ushers, taking Maya's trembling hand. He said it loud enough for people at the barricade to hear. He said it like a truth that had waited all night to come out. The ushers looked at her badge, then at his hand, then at her eyes. The rope lifted. People gasped. Phones rose. Lights bloomed. And Maya stepped from concrete to carpet, not as staff, but as the mind behind a scene the world was about to celebrate. She took one step and felt the carpet push back soft and warm. She took another and felt heat rise to her face. There were cameras stacked like towers. There were questions flying like birds. Evan stood beside her and squeezed her hand once, quietly, like, "We see you." "Walk with us," he said to the publicist. Maya drew the heartbeat of this film. The publicist nodded and clipped the earrings on the lead actress, who smiled even while moving. Anything that could go wrong had almost gone wrong. Now it was saved. And the person who saved it was the same person whose art had started it all. But not everyone smiled. A man in a navy suit and a headset stepped in her way. He had a laminated sheet tucked in his vest. On it were names and arrows. He worked security for the line. He was used to order. He was used to the famous and the almost famous and the never famous. He looked at Maya's lanyard. He frowned. "No catering staff on the carpet," he said, firm. "Back through the door, please." Before Evan could speak, Maya felt old heat rise in her. It was the heat from the counselor's office when they told her film school was too expensive this year. It was the heat from the bus ride where a man had asked if she cleaned houses. It was the heat from last week when a guest at a fancy table called her "girl" and snapped his fingers. Her jaw set. She inhaled. She almost stepped back. Then she saw her own reflection in a camera lens. small, brown, scared. She saw the metal sign in her mind. Staff entrance only. She heard a voice. It was her grandma's voice from years ago, steady and sweet. Sometimes a door is only a door until you walk through it. Evan spoke first. "She's with me," he said. "She's part of Orchard Nights." The headset man hesitated. His hand hovered near his radio. He looked at the publicist. The publicist said yes with her eyes. The man stepped aside an inch, then another. He did not like breaking lines, but sometimes lines need bending. Maya swallowed and stepped forward, an inch, then another. The carpet opened like a story-changing tense. They walked. The cameras flashed. Reporters shouted names. "Evan, over here! Evan!" He pulled Maya gently into frame. A reporter in a silver dress leaned forward. "Who's your guest?" "This is Maya Brent," Evan said. He didn't say caterer. He didn't say student volunteer. He said her name with care. She storyboarded the alley scene. "She saved our night 10 minutes ago with those earrings you see shining." The movie has her touch in it. Maya heard it. She believed it in 2 places, in her ears and in her bones. Still, her chest shook. She remembered nights drawing by flashlight because the power had gone out. She remembered taping pennies together for the bus to the library printer. She remembered her mother's quiet hands pulling a blanket up to Maya's shoulders and whispering, "Your stories are doors. Keep drawing the handles." They reached a step-and-repeat wall with the film's logo. The cast took their places. Maya stood at the edge, unsure. The publicist whispered, "Come in a little," between Evan and the editor. The editor, an older woman with short silver hair and sharp, kind eyes, made space. "I've been wanting to meet you," she said. "You think in cuts." "I could see it on the page." She pointed at the logo. "You changed the chase from a straight line to a heartbeat." "Good call. Thank you," Maya said, small. Her hands were cold and hot at the same time. Cameras clicked. A journalist asked Evan about the orange light in the alley. Evan turned, smiled at Maya, and said, "Ask her." The journalist did. Maya answered slow and true. "He hides. She waits. The street lamps come on one by one like a pulse. We wanted the orange to feel like a memory warming up." The journalist wrote fast. "Beautiful," she said. "Simple, too. Thank you. For a few shining minutes the night felt easy, but every story has a test. Every carpet has a seam. For Maya, it came in the form of Mr. Dwyer, a studio executive with a square jaw and a prickly smile. He had suits that looked like they cost as much as a car. He had a voice that made people nod. He walked toward the group with 2 assistants and said to Evan, "The board wants a clean shot with the lead and you. No extras. We're on tight timing." His eyes slid to Maya. They did not stop to see her. They slid like rain on glass. He didn't know who she was or did not care. He had a schedule. Schedules have teeth, Evan stiffened. The publicist opened her mouth. The headset man with the laminated sheet looked relieved. Order would return. Maya's throat closed. The moment was fragile as glass. If Evan let her go, she would nod and step back. If she argued, she would make a scene and be difficult. She remembered the counselor who said, "Smile and you'll get further." She remembered the guest who said, "Don't make this about you." She remembered the weight of the velvet box in her hand, the scrape on her elbow, the blue light of the earrings like ocean water. She remembered the little voice from earlier. "Why not you?" She did something small. She lifted her chin. She kept her voice soft. "Mr. Dwyer," she said. "I'm Maya. I drew storyboards for the alley scene. I found the earrings. Evan asked me to stand with the team. I can step out after this one frame. But for this one, may I stay?" Her request landed between them like a coin, deep and clear. The assistants watched Dwyer's face. The publicist watched him, too. The editor's mouth twitched, like she was ready to speak if the air turned wrong. Evan held his breath. Dwyer's eyes sharpened. He had crushed a lot of moments like this. He could do it again with a shrug. But something in Maya's ask, its calm, its clarity, made him pause. Also, many phones were up. Many cameras were live. He could feel the shape of a story growing if he shoved her away. He forced a smile. "1 frame," he said. "Then we move." He motioned with 2 fingers. The headset man nodded, unhappy but obeying. 1 frame. 1 small mercy. A small door opening just enough. They took the shot. Flash. Flash. Evan squeezed Maya's hand again, grateful, as if she had saved the night twice. The editor leaned and whispered, "Good. You build bridges with simple words." The publicist murmured, "Thank you for reading the room." The cameras kept clicking. After the frame, Maya stepped aside on her own. Not pushed, not hidden. She made the choice. And because she chose, she stayed visible in the body language of the group. The assistant nearest Dwyer watched her with new eyes. Sometimes power shifts in inches. They moved toward the theater doors. Inside, air conditioners blew cold across warm faces. Velvet seats shone like wine. The stage glittered with a curtain of gold. Somewhere, a band warmed up. The host practiced a joke under his breath. Ushers guided people to rows. Maya walked with the Orchard Nights team down the side aisle. She carried the garment bag again because habit was strong. The publicist noticed and gently took it. "That's not yours tonight," she said. "Your hands are for clapping." They sat. Lights dimmed. A hush spread like a soft blanket. Clips played. Speeches started. Maya listened to names and music and words about art and risk. Her stomach fluttered. Her elbow stung where she had scraped it near the cart. She touched the spot and smiled. Her body had a tiny mark from doing a brave thing. It felt like a small medal under her skin. Then a category came up with Orchard Nights in it. The audience whispered. A famous actor made a joke about alleyways and oranges. The joke was okay. The nominees were red. Time stretched thin and bright. Maya held the arms of her seat. The editor put her cool hand over Maya's knuckles. Evan stared straight ahead, but you could see the young boy inside his face begging for yes. The envelope opened. The card slid out. The famous actor smiled. He said words that turned the air into a bell. Orchard Nights. The team rose. Chairs clapped and feet clapped and hearts clapped. They moved down the aisle like a small, joyful river. Evan reached back and tugged Maya forward. "You're coming," he said, half whisper, half order. "Don't argue." She didn't. The stage was taller than it looked from the seats. Stairs glowed at the edges. At the top, the gold curtain twinkled like a night sky on fire. The host shook Evan's hand. The famous actor hugged the lead actress. And then there was a row of microphones. And there was each person's turn to say something. Evan went first. He thanked his mother, his crew, his stubbornness, his fear. He thanked the publicist for finding her earpiece. He talked about orange light in dark places. He said, "And I want to start this team's words with someone who showed up twice tonight. First months ago when she drew the bones of our heartbeat, and again an hour ago when she literally saved our shot." He looked at Maya. The cameras turned to her like flowers turning to sun. The world tilted again. Evan held out his hand. "Maya!" Her feet carried her. Her mouth was dry. Her eyes were wet. She stood at the mic and the auditorium seemed to breathe for her. The lights were hot on her face. She could smell the wood of the stage. She could hear her grandmother's voice, faint and strong. "Walk through, baby." "Hi," Maya said. It echoed. The word sounded small and brave. People laughed softly, kind. "My name is Maya Brent," she said, voice steadying. "I work catering sometimes. I draw all the time. I helped storyboard the alley scene in Orchard Nights during a summer class. I used to think doors were made for other people. Then I learned you can knock. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you can help hold one open." She looked at the editor. "Thank you for seeing cuts on paper." She looked at the publicist. "Thank you for trusting me with the earrings." She looked at Evan. "Thank you for putting my name to my work." She looked at the audience. If you're watching this and you feel small on the sidewalk while a carpet shines, I want to say, your work matters even if your badge says something else. Keep drawing. Keep writing. Keep knocking. And when a door opens, don't only walk through. Turn and hold it for the next person. The room was quiet and then not. The applause rose like a tide. Cameras kept rolling. In one balcony, a girl with a sketchbook cried into her sleeve. In the mezzanine, a janitor nodded. In the back row, the headset man with the laminated sheet clapped despite himself and did not know why his face felt warm. On the aisle, Mr. Dwyer looked at Maya with a thoughtful frown and tapped his chin with his program as if counting something new. Backstage after the speech, there was buzzing like a hive. People with phones. People with hands. People with questions. The publicist gave Maya a small bottle of water. "Breathe," she said. "You did good." The editor hugged her firm. "I meant what I said about the heartbeat," she whispered. "We need minds like yours in edit rooms. If you want to learn, I teach on Saturdays sometimes. Come sit with me. Watch how the film finds its rhythm." Maya nodded too fast. "Yes," she said. Her voice cracked. She laughed at herself. "Yes, please." Evan pulled her aside to a quieter corner. He looked excited and guilty at the same time. "I have to tell you something," he said. "Promise you'll listen all the way." Her stomach dropped. "Okay," he ran a hand through his hair. "When we shot the alley, the studio pushed to change the color. They wanted blue. They said orange was old. I fought for your idea. We shot both to be safe." He swallowed. In the final cut, the orange saved the scene. It made people feel warm and scared at the same time. It made the why clear. It gave the actors a place to land their faces. We credited the story team, but not your name. We let the school handle student credits. That was lazy. Tonight, that ends. He pulled a folded paper from his pocket. I wrote an email to the studio before the show asking to fix the credits for stream and home release. After your speech, it won't be a fight. I also want to hire you for our next project as a junior visual storyteller. Real title, real pay. Not a favor. Because you earned it." Maya stared at the paper. Her eyes went blurry. She saw a lot at once. The sign, the earrings, the orange light, her mother's hands, her grandma's soft chair, the librarian who kept the computer lab open late, the bus driver who waited when she ran. She felt anger. At the late credit, at the way doors get labeled to keep people out. She felt relief. At being seen, at being paid. She felt fear. What if she failed? She felt joy. What if she didn't? "Okay," she said. Her voice shook. "I accept." He let out a breath like a laugh. Good. The night kept going. Pictures, hugs. The band played people off. The host made more jokes, some better than others. Maya texted her mother. "We won," she wrote. "They said my name." Her mother replied with a string of simple words. "Proud of you. Come home safe." I kept the light on. When she went back outside to meet the rides, the crowd by the barricade was still thick. A girl about 13 leaned far over the metal. "Miss Maya!" she shouted, bold. "I draw too." Her hair was in two puffs. Her cheeks were bright. She held up a small notebook with sketches of faces and hands. Security moved to push her back gently, but Maya stepped toward the rail. She took the notebook with care. She looked at the lines. They were rough and tender. "These are strong," Maya said. "You see where the story is. Keep going. Take this." She pulled a stubby pencil from her bag, the one she always carried. "It's lucky. It helped me fix a shot once." She didn't say she had sharpened it with a house key. She didn't say she had used it until it hurt to pinch. She just said, "Draw, and if someone tells you staff entrance only, remember staff are the people who make things work." The girl smiled so wide it hurt to look. "Yes, miss," she said. "Thank you." Maya turned to leave and saw the headset man again, the one with the laminated sheet. He looked uncomfortable. He cleared his throat. "Miss Brent," he said, I was wrong earlier. About the line. Not about safety. That's my job. But about you. I didn't ask. I just saw the badge and made you small." He swallowed. "I'm sorry," Maya nodded, kind but not soft. "Thank you," she said. "Next time, maybe ask a name before you make a rule." He nodded back, embarrassed and changed. "I will." On the ride to the after-party, the city looked like a pile of jewels spilled on black velvet. In the car, Evan fell asleep for a moment, mouth open, childlike. The editor read texts and smiled. The publicist took her shoes off and sighed with deep, honest joy. Maya looked out the window and watched the sidewalks. She saw a line outside a small theater. She saw two friends arguing with love under a street lamp. She saw a man in a diner reading a script and tapping his foot in a rhythm only he knew. She saw a woman locking a storefront and humming a song her grandmother probably hummed too. The whole city looked like a set. But the people were not extras. They were the story. At the after-party, music thumped. Glasses clinked. A DJ played an old soul track that felt like sunshine in a living room. It was loud and easy to get lost. Maya needed air. She stepped onto a small balcony. The night was cool. The pool on the roof reflected the moon like a coin in a fountain. She placed her hands on the rail and let her breath come back. A voice behind her said, "I liked your speech." She turned. Mr. Dwyer stood in the doorway, no assistance now, no prickly smile. He looked almost human. "Thank you," she said. "I was you once," he lied, then winced. "No, I wasn't. I was a different kind of outsider, but not your kind. I've closed doors my whole career to keep schedules clean. Tonight I saw a door open and nothing broke. In fact, it got better." He looked at the pool. "I'm not promising to be a saint, but I am promising to ask more questions before I say no." He took out a card. "If anyone gives you trouble with the credit fix, call me." He held the card out like a small truce. Maya took it. "Thank you," she said. "And thank you for the one frame." He laughed at himself. "One frame. The world turns on little hinges, doesn't it?" "It does," she said. "And some hinges need oil." He nodded, oddly moved. "Good night, Miss Brent." He left. The door closed with a soft click that sounded less like a barrier and more like a promise. Later, when the party thinned and the night started to break around the edges, Maya went home. She took off her shoes at the door. Her mother sat at the kitchen table with a mug. The old lamp glowed yellow. The tiny apartment felt like the only safe place on earth. Maya put the award program down. It had her name printed on a sticker the publicist had rushed to make and press on the team page. It was crooked. It was perfect. Her mother touched the sticker with the tip of her finger. "You walked through," she said. "I did," Maya said. "And I turned and held it." Her mother smiled. "You always do." They sat in quiet joy. The cheap clock ticked like a metronome. Outside, a siren sang a sad song and faded. Inside, Maya opened her sketchbook. She drew the door with the staff entrance only sign. She drew herself under it, the garment bag against her heart. She drew the velvet box rolling under a cart. She drew a hand grabbing it. She drew the earrings glowing like small oceans. She drew the rope lifting. She drew a carpet like a river and tiny flashes like stars. She drew a girl walking from concrete to color. Then she drew a second figure behind her, half finished, like a shadow becoming a person. She wasn't sure who it was yet. Maybe the 13-year-old from the barricade. Maybe someone watching from a bus. Maybe someone not born yet. She left the second figure open on purpose. Doors are not only for one person. Days later, the fix went through. Her name appeared on the stream credits. People took screenshots and sent them to her with too many exclamation marks. A small magazine ran a piece. From staff entrance to spotlight. The night a young black storyboarder changed a carpet. A local school asked her to speak. The editor kept her promise about Saturdays. Maya learned to listen for the right cut, not just the clever one. Evan sent a script for the new project. It had a scene in a laundry room with steam like ghosts and a small dance between two tired people who remember they are alive. He asked, "How does this breathe?" She wrote notes in the margins and drew boxes with arrows and wrote, "Less music here. Let the drip drip speak." He wrote back, "You hear the film. Don't ever stop." One afternoon, months after the night of the earrings, Maya returned to the same venue for a smaller festival. She walked past the loading dock. The metal sign still hung there, staff entrance only. She stood under it and smiled. A new catering kid stood near the ramp, eyes wide, hands tight on a tray, looking both proud and small, just like Maya had. "Hey," Maya said. "You okay?" The kid nodded too fast. "This tray is heavy." Maya took the heavy tray for a second, let the kid shake their hands out, then passed it back. "You got it," she said. Also, if you see a velvet box rolling under a cart, grab it." The kid laughed, not knowing the whole story. "I will." Maya started to walk away, then turned back. She took a marker from her bag. She looked at the sign. She did not change the words. She did not cross anything out. She wrote, small and neat on the bottom edge, "People make the show. Be kind." Then she drew a tiny door next to it, open just enough for light to escape. She capped the marker and stepped away. That evening, as the sun set and the carpet burned bright again, Maya stood near the rope for a minute just to watch. The carpet was still a sky. The concrete was still a wall. But now she knew that walls have seams. She had found one. She had pushed. She had walked through. She had turned and held it. And even if 1,000 people forgot, she would remember. Because she had felt the carpet under her feet, and the lights on her face, and the weight of a microphone in her hand. She had heard her own voice ring in a room built to echo. She had spoken for the version of herself who had drawn by flashlight and taped pennies for bus rides. She had spoken for kids who stand by signs and think signs are laws. She had told them a secret. Doors are sometimes just words. She left the rope and walked down the sidewalk. A bus whooshed by. A boy on a bike laughed. A couple argued softly and forgave each other at the light. A food cart hissed. The city kept being loud and tender. In a storefront window, Maya saw her reflection. She looked like herself. She looked like more. She touched the scratch on her elbow and smiled. It had healed to a thin silver line. It reminded her of film splicing tape, how cuts become whole if you line them up with care. That night before sleep, Maya wrote a note and taped it inside her closet door. Remember how it felt to walk from concrete to carpet. Remember to bring someone with you. She turned off the light. The room held her. The city exhaled. The world did not change all at once. But in one small corner of it, a hinge had been oiled. And so, if anyone ever asks how it happened, how a girl with a catering badge and a notebook full of frames ended up on a stage under gold light, the story will start where it should, with a metal sign and a velvet box, a publicist's panic and a director's hand, a calm request to stay in one frame and a simple speech about doors. It will move through old fear and new courage, past a headset man learning to ask names and a studio boss learning the power of a pause, into an after-party where a card became a promise and a balcony felt like air. It will end, for now, with a pencil given to a kid and a tiny drawing under a sign. And when the last line is spoken, it will circle back to the words themselves, bright as the bulbs beyond the rope. Staff entrance only. A black girl, 20 years old, walked the red carpet.